Honorable Minister, when we adjourned on Friday, we agreed that there was an extract that you were going to send us, the extract of that video. And the report that I got from our support team is that inquiries have made with your team, and up to now we haven't got any positive response. So we are going to proceed with today's activities without that extract. And this is how the order of the day is going to be. We are going to allocate you and the SC 2 hours between 9 o'clock and 11 for you to conclude the presentation of evidence. And then we will take a comfort break. When we come from comfort break, we are going to take 3 or 4 speakers before 1 o'clock. They will be asking you questions. And then we will take another break at 1. When we come back, we will take 2 or more speakers.
Recording in progress.
Which will take us from 2 o'clock until 16 hours. And then take another break. When we come back, we will run until 18 hours. We will break at 18 hours. And then when we come back, we run until 20 hours. At the time we break at 20 hours, we will make an assessment of the number of speakers that we would have taken today. And then if the number would be sufficient in the opinion of the chairperson, we can then decide to call it a day and finish the business tomorrow. But in the event the chair is not satisfied that a sufficient number of members has spoken, we may extend it until 22 hours, 23 hours, or 00 hours. So I just felt that I should state this so that we are clear, all of us, before the commencement of the proceedings, how we intend to run the activities of today. Thank you so much. With those remarks, Senior Counsel, the ball is in your court. Let's start rolling. Thank you so much.
Then I make the fourth comment. Now, directly relating to what General Mchunu had said about Mkhotsi being my associate. So I say the person that General Mchunu is referring to is not my associate, it's just a comrade. This is now Mkhotsi directly. Now, so that is what I did. Now, what do I mean by, what was my personal understanding about an associate, even today? I know a number of honorable members here, others for many, many, many years. But they may not necessarily be my associates, at least the way I understand associate. They are people that I know. Like Honorable Albert Mchunu, I knew him long ago, when we were vehemently opposed to each other in KZN. But I have never regarded him as my associate. It's just somebody I know.
Thank you.
Now, that is what I was explaining there. And there's no way I could have lied there, because the 2 comments are my personal story. The 3rd comment is a precaution, to be circumspect, and the last comment is then to deny. Now, what complicated things in my view is that when General Mkhwana made his statement on the 6th of July, he then tells the public something twisted. He says, Minister Mchunu said he doesn't know Brown Mkhotsi in Parliament, which I never said. I never said. But it tells the public something twisted, saying, I said in Parliament, I don't know Mkhotsi. When I actually said I don't know the person who was on the phone, not Mkhotsi, and that was not Mkhotsi. He told that to fit his narrative, if he was not making a genuine error on his part, one of the two, he can explain what he was doing, whether it was an error or he said something to the public that was calculated to suit his narrative. I never said in the portfolio committee, I don't know Mkhotsi. I said he is not my associate. Somewhere, I think it was in here in the portfolio committee, or no, in the ad hoc committee, or in the Madanga Commission, he said it doesn't differentiate between knowing. He even spoke about a friend, the difference between a friend, knowing, comrade. He said something like it's similar to him. That is to him, not to me. I differentiate, that's why I use the dictionary to say, in fact, from where I sit, once you say associate, I would think of some partnership, some work relations.
A minister to Matlala and his affidavit, which is at SM 44. It's in volume 2. It's an affidavit that is deposed to by Vusimusi Matlala. It's date stamped the 22nd of September of this year, 2025, and it was commissioned by an officer at CMEX on the 22nd of September 2025. So, can I start by asking, how did you obtain this affidavit from a person who is being kept at CMEX? And I think colloquially, we all associate CMEX with high security and persons who are detained there because of its high risk, high security. Would I be correct more or less in that understanding? That CMEX is not just your ordinary prison like a Polsmoor or Drakenstein, it's high security. So how did you obtain this affidavit from him?
I got this affidavit from my lawyers. And they said they had a chat with Matlala's lawyers at their level, in their own time, their own way. And then they gave me documents that they said they received from Matlala's lawyers. How any other thing happened, I don't have the knowledge, but I do know that my lawyers did give me the statement a couple of days or so ago to say they have this kind of a document.
So was the sole purpose of obtaining this affidavit, or procuring an affidavit from Mr. Matlala, that he denies knowing you?
On several occasions since I started preparing, I have been emphasizing to my lawyers that I don't know Matlala. I repeated that and I said to them, my lawyers, I'm not fooling you. I'm not playing any game with you. I am honestly saying to you, I have never met Matlala. I have never seen him in my naked eye. I have never had a talk directly or indirectly with him. And I've been repeating it over and over, and at the same time saying, I know Mkhotsi on the other hand, and how I got to know Mkhotsi, and how he's not my associate. And I think they then took the initiative that they took to inquire on their own, and they got this affidavit. And this affidavit, when I read it, it reflects what my understanding is, that I have never met a person. The only time I got to talk more about Matlala, other than coming across the name from newspapers and social platforms, it was on the 20th of December when we started talking to General Masimula about the contract. Then that's when I started talking more about Matlala. Before that, I just come across the name Matlala and the stories about Tembisa and all of that, but I had never heard anything else to talk about Matlala.
Minister, how did you obtain this affidavit from him?
I got this affidavit from my lawyers, and they said they had a chat with Matlala's lawyers at their level, in their own time, their own way, and then they gave me documents that they said they received from Matlala's lawyers. How any other thing happened, I don't have the knowledge, but I do know that my lawyers did give me the statement a couple of days or so ago to say they have this kind of a document.
So was the sole purpose of obtaining this affidavit, or procuring an affidavit from Mr. Matlala, that he denies knowing you?
On several occasions since I started preparing, I have been emphasizing to my lawyers that I don't know Matlala. I repeated that, and I said to them, my lawyers, I'm not fooling you. I'm not playing any game with you. I am honestly saying to you, I have never met Matlala. I have never seen him in my naked eye. I have never had a talk directly or indirectly with him. And I've been repeating it over and over, and at the same time saying, I know Mkhotsi on the other hand, and how I got to know Mkhotsi, and how he's not my associate. And I think they then took the initiative that they took to inquire on their own, and they got this affidavit. And this affidavit, when I read it, it reflects what my understanding is, that I have never met a person.
Good morning, Minister and colleagues. The SC is raising a very important point and is leaving it, where the minister says, I never solicited an affidavit from Matlala. My lawyers are the ones, after listening to me so many times, they went to solicit the affidavit from Matlala. and I wanted the SC to ask as to, are you saying your lawyers acted without an instruction? Because lawyers act on instructions of their clients. And minister should understand the implications of what he is saying about his lawyers, because they can be reported to LPC, that on their own volition, go to a maximum prison, obtain an affidavit. Is that without his instructions, and they are his lawyers? Is that the understanding that the minister wants to share with us?
My response is, Honorable Malema, is quite correct. I did express a wish that if all possible, if it were to be possible, I could wish to get an understanding, even via such a document, They say I get something of a lifestyle from, without naming what is it that I've ever received from Matlala, or what word has ever gone between me and Matlala, but they say he funds my lifestyle. And the strangest thing, Chair, is that I have nothing that I can, they just on their own connect me, and it has never happened. So the express response is that I did express a wish that if I could, I mean, if anything could be possible. So I was wishing, and they carried out that wish.
So it was on your instructions that your lawyers approached Matlala in CMEX to depose to this affidavit.
Yes. Let me start with immediate. Immediate should never be read outside of preliminary report, outside reference to the preliminary report. 2, it should never be read outside the meeting that was indicated in the directive of UNESCO, because it will definitely be out of context. It will be like, I just sent the word, terminate with immediate, terminate immediately, like a switch on the wall. Please, when you look at immediate, look at preliminary, look at the other meeting that was intended at the end of January. You will see that as we wrote in immediate, but there was a clear indication, black and white, that there would be other engagements at a later stage. That's the first thing. And of course, the immediate itself shouldn't be read to mean now as a term. Switch off, switch on. It shouldn't. Last time I made an example that if you were driving a vehicle of the National Political Killing Stars team, and you had a suspect at the back of your van or somewhere, you wouldn't say, oh, immediate effect. As soon as National Commissioner received this, he wouldn't have made a call to say, release all those who are in your cars, throw the dockets, and so on. That was not the intention at all. I even welcome the National Commissioner indicating at a later stage that when he responded on how to operate or implement the directive, that he came with the phased approach and all those matters. That is the two sides of the same coin. But let me go to your first part of the question. There was nothing wrong with the timing from where I sit, because I indicated earlier in my main affidavit that I wanted a situation where at the beginning of the year we would have something concrete and clearly identified that it's something that I wanted to get rid of, or I wanted us to persist with immediately amidst all other issues, because you tend to be overwhelmed when you work in this situation. You have to be very clear. I want to pursue this and this and this, and to me this was outstanding. But there was also that issue that I indicated earlier of some risks that came from the concerns of other people. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I don't think it's appropriate, Chair, for the Minister to downplay what we were given and were told this document is part and parcel of the Minister's submission to us. And I mean, it means we must discard this information which were given to us, because it means he did not peruse the document, whether it's his lawyers, but he must take responsibility of this document. He can't downplay this. I mean, we were given this document this morning. We were told by the lady to say this document comes from the minister. It can't be downplayed, Chair. I don't think we are really. We have to take this thing as easy as that. that, you know what, the minister is distancing himself from the document. It can't be, Chair. Please protect us, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Shongwe.
No, Chair, I was in line with Honorable Skosana, but Chair, please protect us. The Minister has a tendency of ukusibonisa indlela akhuthele ngayo. Ubuzwa lo umbuzo asiphendule into yaseJohn yakaJohn waseNineve ayilandele kude, and that takes isikhathi, Chair. So siyacela ngasibonisa ukukhuthala kwakhe. And number 2, Chair, if leli phepha ezenalo yena akalithembi akasitshele manje silijikise ngoba if already seline error A1, how many more are there? So we must deal with this document immediately ukuthi do we accept it or not. If uthi li right linje asiqhubeka nalo linje. Sazi ukuthi uxola ubani lo la uphilayo? Uyabona. No, thank you. Chair.
Do you want to say something, Honorable Ngola? Okay. No, Honorable Minister, the members are right. You have to take responsibility for the material that have been submitted before us. Especially that you make reference that these submissions have been made through the assistance of your legal team. You can imagine if Mr. Khombela or his family or people who know him are following the proceedings now, it may cause a very serious inconvenience on his part. Or if I arrive at home now, I just switch on television and I hear that Mr. Khombela is no more, I start sending messages of condolence to his family, because it's something which is being said in Parliament. I don't even have time to check the veracity of such statements. I think it can cause very, very serious inconveniences. And I think you, here on record, you must apologize for submitting that material, but also make an apology to whoever it may concern. Thank you so much.
I take full responsibility. Even before, I didn't say it is just lawyers that brought it, and I said I did insist that that report be brought to my lawyers. I didn't disown the report or the fact that it was brought in here. And so I take responsibility of ensuring that the report is brought in here. But I do acknowledge that it is clearly written that that's the Global Initiative report, which I identify with by and large, but I acknowledge that it has that error in relation to Councillor Khombela, and for that I apologize to the family and anybody else whom it affected as such. It shouldn't have been that way. Thank you.
Minister, lastly, I've got a document that we received this morning. When I inquired about it, I was told that it came yesterday through your lawyers. Then this document, it has a report on the Global Initiative Against Transitional Organized Crime. Then it says, The Politics of Murder, written by Ruby Mutamba and Kwaita Tobela, May 2024. Then if you're going to look at page 14 of the document, it reflects about councillors killed leading up to the elections of local government, November 2021. One of the people that is said to have been killed in October 2021 is Xolile Nkompela. You know Xolile Nkompela, I think. during my era as the mayor. Xolile Nkompela, a municipal speaker, was ambushed and killed while returning home after campaigning for the ANC in Tsolo, in the Eastern Cape. Xolile Nkompela is still alive. And kicking. And the document here that is brought here to the ad hoc committee, it reflects like this. Because if Xolile Nkompela can see this, you know yourself, Minister, he can say that it's me who said he has been killed. He's not killed because I was the mayor, he was the speaker.
Thank you, Chair. I don't think it's appropriate, Chair, for the minister to downplay what we were given and were told this document is part and parcel of the minister's submission to us. And I mean, it means we must discard this information which were given to us, because it means he did not peruse the document, whether it's his lawyers, but he must take responsibility of this document. He can't downplay this. I mean, we were given this document this morning. We were told by the lady to say this document comes from the minister. It can't be downplayed, Chair. I don't think we are really. We have to take this thing as easy as that. That, you know what, the minister is distancing himself from the document. It can't be, Chair. Please protect us, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Shongwe.
No, Chair, I was in line with the Honorable Skosana, but Chair, please protect us. The Minister has a tendency of ukusibonisa indlela akhuthele ngayo. Ubuzwa lo mbuzo asiphendula into yaseJohn yakaJohn waseNineve ayilandele kude. And that takes his card, Chair. So siyacela ukuthi angasibonisa ukukhuthala kwakhe. And number 2, Chair, if leli phepha ezenalo yena akalithembi, akasitshele manje silijikise ngoba if already said ne era A1, how many more are there? So we must deal with this document immediately. What do we accept it or not? If utili right ilinje asiqhubeka nalo linje. Sazi ukuthi uxola ubani lo la uphilayo? Oh yabona ke. No, thank you, Chair.
Do you want to say something, Honorable Ngola? Okay. No, Honorable Minister, the members are right. You have to take responsibility for the material that have been submitted before us. Especially that you make reference that these submissions have been made through the assistance of your legal team. You can imagine if Mr. Nkompela or his family or people who know him are following the proceedings now, it may cause a very serious inconvenience on his part. Or if I arrive at home now, I just switch on television and I hear that Mr. Nkompela is no more, I start sending messages of condolence to his family, because it's something which is being said in Parliament. I don't even have time to check the veracity of such statements. I think it can cause very, very serious inconveniences. And I think you, here on record, you must apologize for submitting that material, but also make an apology to whoever it may concern. Thank you so much.
I take full responsibility. Even before, I didn't say it is just lawyers that brought it, and I said I did insist that that report be brought to my lawyers. I didn't disown the report or the fact that it was brought in here. And so I take responsibility of ensuring that the report is brought in here. But I do acknowledge that it is clearly written that that's the Global Initiative report, which I identify with by and large. But I acknowledge that it has that error in relation to Councillor Gompela. And for that, I apologize to the family and anybody else whom it affected as such. It shouldn't have been that way. Thank you.
Honorable Malema did advise that when you come back today, you must actually direct us exactly where we must go so that we understand your argument better.
The part that I was interested in was where such a statement was being made between them and then recorded. Now, it's only in reference, it turns out, because that part was said before they started recording. But it is referred to in the conversation on the 5th and acknowledged by them when they remind each other that whoever would have screenshot them when they were discussing would not have missed out on this part and that part. For instance, on the first part where there was talk of fight back, where there was talk of if the minister is clean. That conversation had not been or was not recorded, and I thought part thereof was actually recorded. That's why I brought it here. But it turns out that it is only in reference. So my answer to you is that I thought that that had been recorded. It turns out it had not been recorded. It just comes as a reference, rather.
Okay. Does the minister understand that as things stands, given that response, the ad hoc committee doesn't have the evidence of threats as things stands now?
The ad hoc committee has a reference as it stands now, and I would advise that if it pleases the ad hoc committee, you can get Mr. Nkabinde to come and say it for himself. So it shouldn't just be, just because the recording, the actual recording is only in reference, and therefore that's the end of the game. It's not the end. And Nkabinde is alive, he can be asked to come so that he says it himself, if you so wish.
He's alive and kicking.
It's alive and kicking, just like...
No, it's fine.
Honorable Ngolo,
Yes, Chair.
you know, this morning when we started, from this table, we made an announcement to members of the ad hoc committee that our support team followed up with the minister and his team to forward the extract that he wanted us to play on that day. And as at the time of resumption of proceedings this morning, that extract has not been forwarded to us. So it is not us. It was him who said it last week on Friday, that he wanted us to hear that extract and it was not there in the recording. And you are very right that when we rose, Honorable Malema said, please make sure that whatever piece of information you have you want to bring us, make it available. So it has not been made available, Honorable Minister. And the question that the Honorable Member is asking, he is justified to say that as it stands now, the ad hoc committee doesn't have that extract, which you promised that it will be made available.
Yes, Chair, and I give a reason that I was under an impression that it had been recorded when the recording of their conversation had started, and it turns out that it had not started on the first day when that was mentioned. It only started on the 5th day.
Yeah.
Yes.
I take the explanation, but the fact remains, as we proceed now, the extract is not here before us.
It is not here before us as intended, except to add that it is in reference,
Yeah.
only in reference.
Yeah. We agree. If we use the primary and the secondary, we will say the primary is not here.
I
Is
would
that so?
agree.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, there is a hand.
Honorable Malema.
I'm on the same point. The minister, because you are putting it as if we should have the recording. The minister does not have a recording. He told us he's got a recording and he wants us to play. That's number one. Number two, he wanted us to listen to something he never listened to himself. Because it's not there. And that's what you should be asking the minister. Not that where we are now, we don't have a recording. That recording doesn't exist. Let's agree there. That there was no such a recording where Mkhwanazi was threatening the minister. And that's why I was interested that he must bring that thing here, because we want to hear for real if minister was threatened. Minister comes, that thing is not here, and then we speak in different languages. We must put it on record that the minister doesn't have that recording, and therefore that recording doesn't exist.
You are absolutely correct, honorable member.
Did you write a disbandment letter for them?
Pardon?
Did you write a disbandment letter for those that were also part of the list? Like you did for the PKTT. Is there any letter that you wrote disbanding the other task teams?
Not necessarily, because they were not the subject of what we needed to do. Remember, here we were optimizing, we were wanting to ensure that we meet the obligations that we have. And there was an instrument that was already in place. They had already been integrated, but they were at various levels of being established or formed. And so we were confirming or endorsing that. It was not about looking at this team, disband it, looking at this team, and so on. But this one was on focus at one point, just like the police inspectorate was at focus in one of our discussions. And we say, no, look, let's look at this one. And we agreed to look at it. And then we're now looking at this one. And we decided that and look, it was not for the first time. I'm not the first person to mention disbandment of the political task team. The very beginning, it was temporal. It was never to be permanent. And there were extensions. You wouldn't extend on a permanent basis, keep on extending annually. They were outside of the structure. You wouldn't continue with that. It's not good governance. Quite a number of things that you would have needed to ratify anyway. So all others that were there had been integrated, and so there was no need to focus on them in any way, because they had been integrated.
So we should place it on the record that a task team for which a letter was issued to communicate its disbandment is only the PKTT.
Not necessarily, because I'm explaining that others had already been integrated.
Yes.
Those that were recommended by the work study.
Yeah.
And there were still, some of them were still in the process. But in terms of the letter, it was the National Political Task Team that had to be disbanded, and I've stated reasons that wouldn't apply to others because they were no longer there.
Thank you, Chair. And Honorable Minister Mchunu.
Baba.
My first question to you, Minister, will be, can you perhaps comment on the professionalism of Major General Van Rooyen who holds a LLD degree. He's a LLD graduate, who's on record that you acted ultra virus.
Well, the comment is contained in my submission that I didn't. And in fact, I acted within the Constitution and within the legislative framework in terms of powers of the minister.
So you disagree with her?
I disagree with her upfront.
Thank you. Now that you have listened to Nkabinde and General Mkhwanazi illegal obtained voice recording, which we have spoken about here, did Mkhwanazi threaten you?
Did he threaten me?
Yes.
Now, I felt that he was threatening me if the conversation between him and Mr. Nkabinde is true, as he related to me at the time when it was happening. Firstly, saying that he is angry. So, and then secondly, if the minister is clean, it suggested a lot of other things. If the minister is clean, and so on. So I felt that he was actually issuing threats, and it was undue, because the letter was not written to him in the first place. It was written to the National Commission. So I felt it was threatening. Whether I got threatened or not threatened is a different matter, but I felt that they were threatening.
Minister, we earlier we discussed the issue of the recording, that what we listened yesterday, we found nothing threatening you. And what we are saying now is exactly what General Sibia said when my colleague asked him, Uguti, uyiphasile or uyifailile? And you know what happened when there was that conversation?
Yeah,
General Sibia said that, yebo, angipasanga kodwa. So we are doing the same thing. My question is simple to you. Let me put it again to you. When we listen to the recording, there's no way General Mkhwanazi has threatened you. Do you agree, or we are changing? Because you responded earlier. I'm asking this question deliberately to say, on record again, don't contradict yourself on this question. The question is simple. That when he spoke to, because we listened to that, there was no threat. Unless we are changing, we say there was a threat there, because you say he was angry.
The threat was not in the audio that we listened to. There was only a reference, but the threat was in their conversation on the 2nd. That's where the threat was, and I thought it had been recorded, and I found that it was not part of what was recorded because it happened before the recording.
No, but
Minister, it was not in this record.
No, but Minister, you are misleading us again. You know, same as the issue where the bodyguards was shot, then you said the other guy. I'm talking about your submission. It's not us who brought in this document. Now we are saying there's another a recording perhaps somewhere, but we don't have, in your submission, you don't have that. So for me, it's speculative. You know, for me, it doesn't hold water where we are because we don't have that. But for the sake of progress, is it true that you were implicated in a murder case which involved one of your bodyguards that IPAD were investigating?
No, IPAD was not investigating that matter. You and I would know that they only deal with complaints on police behavior, so they were not investigating that. I had written this letter complaining to them about an investigation that I had picked up were being conducted by the Hawks on a case that had been dealt with over some time, and got closed when the provincial director of public prosecution had applied their mind on.
Okay.
So then I heard that there's an investigation on the same matter taking a different form, I got worried because it would get you worried the way it was put. And therefore, I wrote this letter to say, let's be transparent. Let them be transparent. If there's anything, let them put it here, not the way it was happening. Then I wrote the letter. Then they came to address the letter. That is how we met.
So was that appropriate for them to come to your house, Robert McBride and him? Was that appropriate to discuss that matter with you at your house?
Well, in what context are you saying? Was it appropriate?
No. I can't answer for you, Minister. I'm just asking, was it appropriate for you to have that matter discussed with you at your house if you were concerned? Because we have institution when we are not happy, like every citizen, because we are all equal before the law. That if there's a matter that I can really do like what you did.
I wrote this letter. They responded and they said, we will meet at your house on such and such a day, such a time.
Okay.
And it happened.
I think he's asking a very important question, which I would want to just get a clarity of the minister. Is it a practice that when people have returned to IPIT take cars and goes to people's houses that have complained to the IPIT? Is that a practice? I mean, I'm hearing you saying they said they are coming to your house and all of that. In line with what he said, we're all equal before the law. Is it a practice that when you complain to IPIT, they drive to your house to come and ask you about your complaint, or they invite you to the offices to come and take the matters forward, as it were, Minister?
I would say, as a response, they are the ones who are best placed to answer that question, because I might respond in a particular way and be wrong and say it is not their practice, only to find that they have examples where they would have done that. Or I would say it's not the practice, it was only an exception with me. And they would say, no, but we've done the same. So I would want to play it safe and say we rather direct the question to them in terms of their own practice.
So it's correct to say the Minister of Police doesn't know how IPIT operates?
On this particular issue, I haven't looked at their matter, but not to say the minister doesn't know how IPIT operates.
Minister, you are sitting there. People want to know. We are talking to a minister. Part of your responsibility when you are sitting there is to educate society. We are asking about the practice of IPIT. Take the opportunity as a minister of police to educate people about how IPIT operate. You can't say become subjective all of a sudden because somehow you're involved. I'm asking about general practice so we can be able to distinguish between what happened to you and what happens to the rest of us.
Now, I am saying in response, the best people to answer that question is them. Now, this particular specific matter, because I haven't checked it with them.
You said earlier today that you have the telephone number of Mr. Brown Mchunu on your telephone.
That I have the cell phone number, yes.
Why?
It's because I've known him from 2017 and I've been using that number.
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
Why didn't I?
Why have you known him since 2017 and what do you use the number for?
No, we're just talking...
About what?
Look, let me explain Brown Mchunu. To me, there are more and more things that are coming out that I didn't know about Brown Mchunu. I knew him just like I got to know you nothing else, just know you as a member of parliament. Then we go on, and then in the course of time, especially recently, I got to know things that I never got to know when there were no current problems, and which then put that question to say, so why would Brown say he's at Lusisi with me and create that impression when it's not? Why would he take a posture that whatever he says to other third parties, it is because he has had a discussion with me and so
No,
on?
Minister, that's not what I asked you. You must please listen more carefully to the questions, and then we'll get done so much more quickly. I asked, what do you talk to him about? Why do you need to use his cell phone number? Not about what he says about you. I'm not interested in what he says about you.
That is part of my answer. That's part of my answer. But I can go on to say we speak about ANC-related matters with him. But I know he likes throwing a lot of other things that have nothing to do with the ANC. That's when I normally don't answer him, or all the time don't answer him.
Okay. And you communicate with him on Signal, you said, amongst other things. WhatsApp and Signal.
That I do what?
You communicate with him on WhatsApp and Signal, you said.
Yes, because he said he has it and I have it.
Yes. So normally people communicate on Signal when they want to be sure that nobody else can read their correspondence. So what are you talking to him about that you're trying to hide?
Same matters, there's nothing more.
You mentioned, it may have been yesterday, all these days morph into one, it feels like a lifetime, about a particular clip on the tape that you referred to that demonstrated that you were in fact threatened. Now, you haven't been able to produce that. Why not?
No, I have explained. You may take, you may not take the explanation. General Mchunu had a conversation with Chief of Staff on the 2nd of January. And one of the things they spoke about was to say that if minister is clean while he was premier and so on, so he can go on with the directives.
I know what he said. I want to know why you can't identify where it is on the tape so that we can hear it.
No, at that time, he had not started recording. He only started when they continued with the conversation in other days, like on the 3rd, on the 4th, and on the 5th, but not on the 2nd.
You now say that at the time the recording happened, the part that the Honorable Member Breitenbach is asking you about was not recorded. And on Friday, you made us to play that record and say on the record there is a part that you want us to hear. Which statement do we take? Do we go back to our statement that the extract that you wanted us to hear is not there? Can we just bury it like that to say the extract that you wanted us to hear is not there, so that we stop making reference to this evidence which has not appeared before us? Can we just bury it that way?
Yeah, it is not there.
Thank you so much.
Okay. We have to close it properly if you are saying we're going to close this part. The minister either must accept that he was misleading the House, or he honestly thought that thing was there. That's why he committed that in the next, I'm the one who said, in the next meeting, just come with that part. And he said, no problem, we'll come with it. But how do you say you will come with a part you never had? Because he was making us to play something he never had. So had we not insisted on that part being brought, this House would have been misled. Either he was doing it deliberately, and if he was not doing it deliberately, he has to apologize to the people of South Africa, who said in anticipation that a minister who has taken an oath, and even not just an oath, also took an oath in this house to tell nothing else but the truth. If he made a mistake, he must say to the people of South Africa, I apologize, I made an error of judgment, it's not there, this issue is not there. Unless he was deliberately misleading us. But if you have made an honest mistake, you have to apologize. And I insist that he has to apologize if he made an honest mistake. People have left what they were doing, waiting to come and hear a part where a general is threatening a minister. That's not a serious, it's not a simple allegation to be made and just leave it like that. That allegation was made. Now there is an acceptance. There is no evidence to that effect. I was actually misled, and I therefore apologize. That is what we insist on, Honorable Chair, for this matter to be closed.
Thank you very much, Chair. I believe I made an honest mistake. I was under the impression that that part that I spoke about was actually there, and it was part of what was sent here. Then I make follow-up after making an undertaking, and it becomes clear that no, recording had not started when this part was discussed among them. And therefore, I made that mistake, and I apologize. No.
Now, Minister, there are alleged SMSs, WhatsApp exchange between Mokgotsi and Ngabinde about you. There's an allegation that Matlala bought a table at the ANC dinner, your table. I'll still come to that because the explanation you gave on the table, I don't accept that. All of these negative things about Matlala, who is arrested to have killed people, who has implicated minister on this or that, and you still, of all people, go and ask an affidavit from Matlala, who's in maximum prison. And in answering that question, actually, I just want to quote so I don't make a mistake. I think there was a bit of dishonesty there, because you're saying the first answer is until I came in. You never, because you now realize on hindsight it was wrong for you to go and get an affidavit from a character like that. And you say, my legal team took their own initiative to obtain the affidavit. You said the initial, that was your original response. And when I intervened, you then say, no, it was my wish, and agreed to instructing them. So you give two answers on one question, that the lawyers acted on their own, which is unethical, and I point to that if they did that, they will be reported to LPC. There is no lawyer that can listen to you and out of feeling pity, without you giving them instruction, go to maximum prison to get an affidavit from a dangerous man. Then you say, no, I gave them instructions. Despite what is happening in this country about this man, despite what brings us here, because at the center of it is that Matlala takes decisions about this or that. If he's been told that PKTT is being disbanded and all of that, you still want to have something to do with such a person, whereas on an official legal documents, which are going to go before Madlanga, before Parliament, and perhaps ultimately in court. Why would you want to associate with such a character, worse if you say you don't know him? Because I was, for instance, associated with Matlala. My wife's surname is Matlala. And it was immediately assumed that I know Matlala. I've never issued a statement. I've never written anything. I don't care what they think. I don't know the chap. But you, because you are lawyers, it's you You pass all these big fences of maximum prison looking for an affidavit from an ethical man who's in prison. How do you justify that, Minister?
Now, let me read this. It will add another dimension. I may have used all those words, but what is actually written down is a straight answer to you. It says, "Dear Mr. July," July is my lawyer. It says, "I confirm that I act on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Matlala, my clients, who have directed that I send this email to you. I understand that you represent the police commissioner, Mr. Senzo Mchunu, at the Madlanga Commission." Well, I'm sure I meant police minister. "My instructions are to present to you an affidavit deposed by Ms. Matlala. In essence, Ms. Matlala denies any dubious dealings with minister and wishes for what he terms General Mkhuna's false allegations to be investigated. For that purpose, the following documents are attached to this email." Then I attach those emails. Now, this suggests that even the lawyers never went to maximum prison. There was discussion between the two lawyers. After I had said, "We're leaving no stone unturned where there is my name and concerns." Now remember, in the background, on a daily basis, if not on an hourly basis, people write false things about me and my name, and link me to people I'm not linked with or to in anything. And you have to, there won't be any thing coming from heaven that would actually clarify the matter. So anything that is legal, anything that is proper in terms of documentation and all of that between the lawyers, and they found that possible, that it could be, not that they traveled, not that there's anything illegal. Because people on a daily basis, as I say, they write dotted lines, which I don't understand what they mean, because nobody out there has any confirmation of anything between me and Matlala. Absolutely nothing. And I can go anywhere and say people must remain behind and investigate anything linked, but they still do it on national television without a piece of evidence. Now, I don't want to spare any moment making sure or making efforts that I have no link with Matlala. That's why I even got my diary to the lawyers to say, here is my diary, in case you believe that you are merely defending me on something that I otherwise know, and then you are going to come with legal strategies. Now, you must know, this is my diary. I was not in Cape Town. I was elsewhere. And I never requested anyone to coordinate anything.
We have a limited time. Chair, and I want you and the honorable members to note this. We are being given the third answer on the same question. The first answer was, my lawyers went without an instruction. Then upon being made aware that they've committed something unethical, then the minister says, no, I actually gave them an instruction. Then I point these two contradictory statements to the minister. The minister gives a third answer on the same question. No, actually, my lawyers didn't go. I didn't give them instruction. It's Matlala who writes to my lawyers uninvited, dear Mr. So-and-so, I represent, which means, which answer stands here? Because it's either the lawyers went without the minister's permission, or the minister gave them the instruction, or Matlala wrote the letter uninvited by anyone. So, Minister, please clarify this three, because as things are, it's becoming worse now. Because you gave me three answers. The lawyers went without me. Then I said, no, they can't do that, it's unethical. Oh, I gave them instruction, it was my wish. Okay, you now gave them instruction, you still want to have access to people who are behind big fences and walls at maximum prison. No. It's not that. Actually, Matala and the wife, now the wife comes now, for the first time since we canvassed this question. Matala and the wife's lawyer wrote and said they represent them, and we must get their affidavit because we are going to Madlanga's commission. Which one do we take home here? Because it's not me. You know, Minister, the worry is you shouldn't think you are speaking to me. These matters, as you stand there addressing us, you are clarifying the country which is troubled by these things. That ministers have got access to dangerous criminals to an extent that they can even have access to them even when they are behind bars. Matala was found with a phone in a maximum prison. Matala produces a minister's affidavit from a maximum prison. According to minister's evidence that it's not me, he wrote to me. Because of that, then we used the affidavit. What is the answer, Chair?
The answer is, I did say in the discussion, in the course of discussion over time with lawyers, I did express a need or a wish that I distance myself or be away from Matala. Remember, I had issued a statement on the 9th of July saying I've never spoken to Matala, I've never received or asked for anything from him. So I made this statement. Now we discuss with the lawyers. You are open. You are relating your wishes that relate to the case. Now, once I expressed that, now that wish, you call it an instruction. I don't want to disagree with you that it was an instruction as received. Next thing, lawyers then, pursuing my wish, they call Matala's lawyers. And then this is the result. Now, I don't think you should stress this thing any far or any further, other than what it is. That is an expression of what I had said, because I said, I don't know. If this affidavit was saying anything different, then I would be concerned. But this says what I said I never, and so on, and I expressed a wish. And I don't think there's any other better authority than a person himself, that there's no line whatsoever between him and myself.
Minister, where do I get that letter you were reading? Because I want to read it again. It doesn't say. If your lawyers approach those guys, they would have said, dear so-and-so, in line with the letter you wrote to us requesting affidavit from our client, please find attached affidavit. It says, dear so-and-so, we represent so-and-so, and therefore we represent Matala and the wife, and our client wishes to state it clear that he doesn't know the minister and this is the affidavit. So it's not what you are saying. Your wishes were never delivered to Matala by your lawyers. Never. According to that letter.
Never.
So how does Matala now know minister has got wishes to have a...
My lawyer spoke to his lawyers. That's what I'm saying.
Check, where do you find this letter the minister is referring to? So Minister, Brown Mokhodzi is not your close associate, he's your comrade, who you have his phone and you communicate and all of that. What is the difference between a close associate and comrades? Are we not just playing with semantics? Because you denied that is your close associate, but you talk on the phone, you've got phone numbers of each other. What is the difference there between, because you denied in the committee on the 5th of March. And then now you agree, it's my comrade, I've known him from 2017.
Now-
What is the difference?
I have so many people, just to put it simply.
No, even before you proceed, I heard you giving example with Honorable Bredenbach, like, saying, like, I know you, but we know you know her, the same way you know all of us, but you can't claim to be a comrade of Honorable Bredenbach or anything of that sort, but you know her. And you can't claim to have a number and you communicate constantly and all of that, but when we bring it to you that you are a close associate, you say, no, I'm not a close associate, I'm a comrade. That is playing with semantics.
No, not at all. I deny that strongly. It doesn't work like that. On my cell phone, I can't tell you offhand how many people I have as contacts, as written on the cell phone, names and surname and numbers. Some of the numbers, or many of the numbers, I've held for many years. Now, I'm not being asked questions why I keep those numbers, why I talk to those people, why I use those numbers. And I want to guess, and I'm merely taking a chance. You also have quite a lot of people on your cell phone who are there. Now, I don't know why I'm being asked to display is data sothando for Mchunu. Now that there are problems arising in that angle, people want you to confirm, come here and say, cha, nginesidata sothando luka Mchunu or sokwazana nomchunu. Alukho. And ayikho leyo contact ongayibeza oyibeke ku status of an associate, even referring to the dictionary what an associate is. The person who chose to say I'm Mchunu's associate would have consulted the dictionary and he knew what he was saying. And when I go there myself, I shouldn't be blamed for doing what they did. And then using that word. I'm using the same word, the same term. And I'm saying I'm not. And I'm saying, if everybody you call just because they are on your cell phone, so you're all my associates. So let's bring everything to a standstill and say, all right, Mchunu is my associate. And I'm saying he is not my associate. I've never gone anywhere with him. Restaurant, sit down anywhere. It has never happened beyond just phoning. So I don't know why I would be associated to somebody that I'm saying myself. I'm not. If, for instance, somebody I know passes on, and I go to some funeral, and you find that in a funeral there is somebody who is a fugitive of law, or is an alleged criminal or something like that, what do? You run away? You don't stay for the whole funeral. You stay. But are you not associating yourself with somebody alleged to be a criminal? If pictures of you come to the public knowledge that you were there at the funeral, surely you have something to. And there needs to be substance when you say this person is associated to this person. I don't have any substance. Mchunu phoned General Mkhwana a number of times, even congratulated him, according to him, for something. I've never heard that kind of message from Mchunu. I don't mean other things that you see and they look like they are many. I mean, things like lusikisiki, they don't exist.
Let's say, for instance, I've got General Sibiya's number, like I do with many generals and ministers and deputy ministers. But I can't claim to be a friend, and Sibiya can't claim to be my friend. but I know him. I will call him on matters of the police that I think, look, there is this issue and it seems like you're not paying attention and anything of that sort. I can't deny that, but to stretch it to comradeship, to stretch it to friendship, none of us can claim that kind of a relationship between us. But you have said, this is my comrade, and this your comrade says, the minister is now dissolving that thing that has been giving you nightmares. The minister wants us to buy a table. The minister this and the minister that. When we come to you, say, this guy says he knows you, and he goes around saying the following things about you. Say, yeah, it's my comrade, but I don't know what he's talking about. It's a bit troublesome, Minister. Did the police come and take your gadgets? Were you part of the people that were searched by police and gadgets taken from them in the recent past?
I'm told they came to the gates of Branchiron, the government estate within which I live. They didn't get to the house, and I was just told that they came and they said they were wanting to search and seize my gadgets.
So your house you are referring to is a house in the Matlabandlov, not far from the president's house in a government complex in Pretoria. Is that the house you are referring to?
Yes, a house in that Branchiron.
And when they came to do search and seizure, whatever they were coming to do, they were stopped by police from coming to do their work at the gate in a government complex. Am I right? Police were stopped by police. How does that reflect on the police? That police are coming, surely they've got some form of warrant to come and search and seize certain things. And then in the performance of their duty, other police stop them. Is that not a reflection of deep-seated divisions in the police, and to an extent that it looks like you receive certain preference? I mean, IPT comes to your house. When police come to search you, police stop them from the gate. Never research about which are my police, what. But you can't be searched. There's police there. When you've got a complaint, police come to you at your house. Is that not some kind of an abuse of office and some privilege that we don't have? Because everybody got searched, including a general of the police himself got searched. But the minister was supposed to be searched, and police stopped other police from executing their work. As a minister of police, you are a minister of police. Is that a good reflection of the image of the police?
I'm not informed, as you are, or as you may be, that they had a search warrant. I'm not informed about that. I'm not informed that they produced the search warrant, as you are saying. So until I'm told otherwise, I will then be able to answer your question. But so far, my take is that they didn't have, or they didn't carry with them, because they would have produced it, and nobody would have prevented them from coming, as it happened. But what I'm informed as well is that when they went to Kabinda first, they didn't carry any search warrant, and when they came for the second time, they had the search warrant. But the search warrant they had was dated the day they went there, not the day before, which was evidence that they didn't have. And therefore, it's a subject of another matter, that matter. But it's not because there's any privilege whatsoever. It's not because there's any other thing. It was just that, for now.
But okay, if that is the case, is that not rogue? Like police just rock up in a minister's house without a search warrant, rock up at people's houses. If that is not you abusing privilege, then it is them abusing their power. Because if they go around searching people's houses without proper court documents, It's not in line with
It
what's
will-
supposed to happen.
It will come up, and all of us will get to know at some point in the near future what exactly happened. But I didn't do anything to prevent them from coming. But you must understand that part of what we have as a challenge is unlawful arrests and litigations that are all over, causing us to have a lot of concern about similar activities where police act unlawfully themselves, and there's evidence to that effect.
But let's go to the WhatsApp messages that you refer to now, and it's I think it's open in front of you there. It's in
Yes.
bundle 3 on page 80. If you go to that message that flows over to page 81, it was shown this morning on the screen as well, but you'll see that there's a response by you, and it's the message of the 26th of January that Mchunu sends you, and it's the long message, and the end of the message, the last paragraph, reads, and you can see it there, also meeting with the DNC and COS, which I assume is the Chief of Staff, Cosman, today in Durban for finalization of the Khumalo and the General Mchunu matters. DNC is waiting for the COS here. This is very significant. Then you reply, Minister, by saying, don't unnecessarily. Don't unnecessarily. What does that mean?
Now, don't necessarily what?
No, that's what you wrote. I don't know. Look at the message, Minister. At the messages. Mchunu sends you a
Okay.
message, you reply to the message. And your reply is, don't unnecessarily.
Now, I said Mchunu would sometimes send you messages that you wouldn't understand.
And then you wouldn't reply. That's what you said.
And then?
Then you didn't reply. You previously said during your testimony
Yes,
that he sent you
generally
messages you
I
didn't
wouldn't
understand,
reply.
you wouldn't reply. But you
Generally,
did
I wouldn't reply. But in some cases, I would have replied. That reply, I must have been wanting to say, don't necessarily send me all these things that are necessary, that I don't understand. But I didn't complete that for some reason. But I must have meant that because when I received it, I just couldn't make sense out of it myself at that time.
Minister, with due respect, it's very hard to believe that because we spoke a lot about tone last Friday, I think, or Thursday. Your tone during these, your testimony, you use a lot, you use the words necessary or unnecessary a lot. It's your type, it's how you speak, it's your tone. If you read that message, also meeting with the Deputy National Commissioner and the Chief of Staff today in Durban to finalize the Khumalo and the General Mchunu matters. And your reply is, don't unnecessarily. That seems like an answer to that message.
No, no, I didn't understand what he was talking about. I meant to say probably, don't necessarily don't send me unnecessary message or something to that effect, because I didn't see what the purpose of that message and all these things that he was sending. I had no correlation of what they meant. And as a matter of fact, there was no such meeting. There were no such meetings. No such meetings ever took place. And therefore, had no particular meaning of what he was trying to convey. And I meant to say, all of this is not necessary. In other words, I don't even understand what it means and what it is sent for.
It seems very strange, but it's also very concerning, especially if one then, and it's hard not to connect the dots now. If one takes the message from Brown Mogotsi on the 1st of January to Kat Mklala, and you connect it to these messages, then it seems to form a picture. And usually the easiest answer is the correct answer. Life is not complicated. It's usually very simple. Let me leave it there.